Hello. We've already greeted each other off air. I don't know if this makes it less authentic.
Does it make it more awkward to do it in person?
I don't know.
Or less awkward?
I think it's weird because, like, we can see each other, but, like, there's still the recording right there.
It's like a third person in the room, kind of.
The elephant, but we're addressing it.
Unlike when you're on the phone, you just assume it's recorded always. Like, there's probably some NSA agent that's listening into this, you know.
We're starting off stressful, I
always.
see.
Well, yeah. But if you have a conversation with a person in real life, sometimes there aren't third people talking.
Except for the, recording software that's on my computer right now.
Exactly. And probably a couple NSA agents.
You're listening to Catchupcast, the podcast where, believe it or not, we do not discuss condiments.
This is going off the internet anyway, so, like, we're one step ahead of the NSA agents.
At your school, where's the place, like, you have to have the most confidential conversation with somebody. You got the juiciest gossip, and you don't want anybody else to know about it. You got to tell some secrets. Where are you going to go to talk about these?
I'll be honest, I don't keep secrets. I'm an open book. No,
it's a flat-out lie.
Probably, like, I think my usual thing is, hey, can we go for a walk?
Go for a walk, okay.
So we don't stay in one place, right? So
right, you're moving
keep
target.
Moving.
Yeah.
So, if... I don't know if you've seen the movie The Conversation.
The movie The Conversation?
Yeah, it's a Francis Ford Coppola
I think most
film.
movies have conversations.
It's called The Conversation, you dolt. It's by the same guy who did The Godfather. It's a phenomenal film. Some people think it's better than The Godfather. I haven't seen The Godfather.
And you're a film student. Shame.
Yeah, I also haven't seen E.T., so, like, the film NSA can just take me out right now. No, but, like,
graduate.
If the people are following me around with their surveillance stuff, if I keep moving, they're going to have to also keep moving, and it makes them easier to spot. But, yeah, just sort of go for a walk.
Has that ever happened to you when you're having a conversation about some juicy details?
But the NSA follows me around.
No, and then the person, like, you're walking down the path, and then the person you're talking about also is happening to be walking down that path, but in opposite directions.
So you have to awkwardly stop talking?
You have to, like, okay, 3, 2, 1, quick transition.
Change. Because usually when that'll happen with me, that happened a couple weeks ago, I just very loudly switch topics from, talking about this person. And I saw the movie the other night and, like, just...
Yeah, I think it's hilarious when it's a comical stroke of genius when there's only, like, a couple paths you could be walking at the college that I go to. And that's also the way you talk about GCD, right?
That's your thing? You walk around?
That'd be my answer, because the walls are way too thin. The walls can't keep secrets.
So you don't...
Neither can the floors of the ceilings.
You're not going to go out into the woods and have a conversation?
No, that is what you're going to do.
You're going to, in the physical woods?
Yeah, there'll probably be some trees to hear, but they ain't telling anybody.
It could be.
I don't know.
I think it's in one of the Narnia movies, like, not even the trees could be trusted, and, like...
I know some pretty trustworthy trees.
You hang out with these trustworthy trees a lot, just like...
Yeah, pretty solid as oak, if you know what I mean.
I see what you did there.
But my point is that, yeah, it's the same at my school, right? Like, you can't... To have a private conversation, you have to go for a walk. And the place that usually happens is around... Oh, I can't say...
I can just bleep this whole thing out. Like
No.
When you talk about your school.
I haven't said anything yet. Is around a certain block, a certain, like, square soccer field. We'll call it a soccer field because it is a soccer field sometimes. But there's other community gatherings that happen there. Actually, there's a few other. It's called a common. It's a common town space.
Quads. At my school.
No.
You have an aversion to that word.
No. Quads are owned by the school.
Oh, so this is like a
common is literally owned by the town.
That's why, because it's so small. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, and so people will walk around the common. Okay, and if you see two people walking around the common, you know they're talking about something juicy. You know that's like if you see a couple walking around the common, oh boy. It's got to be the breakup common. Like
they're not just gonna go for a walk.
No, you don't go for a walk around the common and just talk about something normal. You talk about that wherever you are.
But what if you happen to be in Schmiemerville and you are
just going for a walk?
Yeah, just going for a walk. Oh, this is a nice green space. I'm gonna walk around here. My partner, why don't we go for a nice walk and have a conversation about tulips while we walk?
That's like the sign of death. You're like, oh no,
really upsetting.
This is it.
So
they're like, hey, do you want to go for a walk around the common? And you're like, you just know it. It's done.
that's so stressful.
It's happened to me a couple times. Not really, just once. We don't need to talk about that. But
no, we can move on.
But also if you're just talking to your friends, like no breakup bad stuff, and you want to actually like talk about something serious or like talk about
the common is the place to go.
That's where you do it. You walk around this little rectangle of turf for a couple hours and talk about whatever you need to talk about. But if you see other people doing that, you know it's like.
Are there ever like sets like you got 4 or 5 people just having like separate serious conversations?
No, I feel like there's not enough people for that to happen.
That's true. You go to a tiny.
There's usually just like one person. And I did this the other week. I was talking to my friend about some salacious gossip. It was
word of the day. Salacious.
salacious. Have I said it more than once?
No, but it's so good.
It's a great word. Yeah, so we're walking around the common and we're talking about some salacious stuff. And I was like, we're doing it. We're doing the same thing that everybody else does.
You've fallen in.
2 people
you're
walking
just like
around the
everybody
common
else,
talking
Isaac.
about their secrets. Man, what that place could tell.
There's this pond sort of off. It's on campus, but like it's down the hill and away from everything unless you're playing sports.
Okay.
So if you go down there at night, it's like the good spot for like the gossip, because no one's around.
Nobody's around.
It's just you. I mean, the way I'm describing it makes it sound like you're gonna murder this
Yeah, I was
person
gonna
and
say
throw
that's
their body in a
suspicious.
pond.
Do you have any of those blue light things at your school?
I think schools are required to.
My school doesn't have any of those blue
Really?
light things. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
They're
like emergency phone.
And you press the thing and then like, is it a phone? See, I don't even know because I don't have one.
Mine's got like a dial, like numbers and stuff, so I think you can probably call
Campus security.
like
or something.
911 or campus security. But there's also just like a help button that you can press. It's a big red button. And every time I walk by, it's like.
No, don't
The
do
human
that.
instinct when you see a big red button is to push a big red button, right?
No, it's probably.
But pressing it would have
Well, we know the bigger the button,
the what? How does that end?
the more crazy your leader of the free world is. The more stable of a genius.
The more
Stable of a genius.
That's our Trump joke of the entire show, folks.
But your school has those.
Yeah, and I thought all schools did. This is
No,
news
definitely
to me.
not. We don't have those.
So, like, if someone's in like danger and needs help imminently, what is the go-to?
Well, we don't have cell service, so
it's just over.
But there is Wi-Fi, so you'd probably.
So hang on, let me just. LOL, let me tweet this at you real quick.
No, but
in
like
danger.
you can make cell calls.
That's true. Wi-Fi calling is a thing.
Dorms have landlines too, so you can make a call that way.
But if you're like in, let's say you just finished a very serious talk on the Commons at like 1 a.m. I don't know if that ever happens.
No.
And the person's like,
Why
"Oh,
are
I'm
you up
off
at 1 a.m.
to I'm gonna go eat some food." And you're like, "Well, I'm gonna go on a different way." So you're walking away from the Commons at 1 a.m. alone, and then like a creepy man in a trench coat approaches. Like, what do? You're just like, trench coat man, I am in danger, but like don't, because there's no way for me to get help. Like, what is the go-to there? I know it's a small
I don't
town,
think
but
that's
like
gonna happen. I don't know what you're
hypothetically.
talking about.
Hypothetically, what's the fastest way to get help though?
The thing we have to worry about more of is like people getting hurt either on the farm or using chainsaws in the forest. And that's like a very serious
very
and like
serious. I
very
shouldn't be
common
laughing,
thing.
but it's
Like,
just
that's actually something that could happen. So like every once in a while we'll have a drill where somebody will come, like it'll be a response drill. Like, so if somebody will come into the room and be like, "Yo, somebody's hurt down in the woods. We need the wilderness first responders to head down there and go help them." And you go to the first aid closet, grab all the first aid supplies in the backpack, and like head down there. And then you like treat this fake person and then bring them. They're a real person, but you treat their fake injuries and then bring them back. And it's like timed. And
you participated in one.
I did
of these, right?
participate.
You
I
talked about how you
participated
were
in a few
victim.
of them actually.
Is it a lot of fun just to like?
Well, one was actually training for the wilderness first responder.
Yeah, that's the
class,
one I think you told me about.
which was hilarious for
a number of reasons.
reasons.
Obviously, don't need to get into.
Mainly because my friend was also part of it, and it's just fun to mess around with him and be as belligerent of a patient as you can be.
Well, absolutely.
Because you have the excuse because you sawed your hand off and you're in a lot of pain.
Did you like have your hand up your sleeve or like what was the?
I had a prosthetic scar and then a whole bunch
Amazing.
of cornstarch mixed with red food dye.
So they weren't messing around.
It was like, so I like took the bottle and like poured it. I had like a
Was this
sweatshirt that was cut up and everything.
High grade prosthetic, like
No, it was like just some like clay makeup
Oh,
that
okay.
was like pressed on there into
Right,
like a
yeah.
shape and then, yeah.
Had
And then like a bruise, like some like makeup bruising on another leg and stuff.
And I mean, did you just the whole time, oh my god, I'm in pain, oh, pass out?
When
or
they
like-
showed up, well, yeah. It was they had treated me pretty okay, and so they put a Band-Aid on it. This was actually last spring. This was a while ago, but they put a Band-Aid on it, and I talk about like they put like a little tiny like Band-Aid. No, they like wrapped it and like put pressure and like it was pretty good. And then they like made a fire because it was a pretty cold and like stormy night, and we were waiting for somebody else to get evacuated. Like it was this big whole like mock rescue situation. There was like multiple casualties and like, anyways. And so we're like all waiting around the fire, and I'm on my feet, and the rescuers are also like tending to the fire. And the instructor for this scenario comes up to me and whispers something into my ear that he doesn't want the rescuers to know, but he wants me to know. And all of the rescuers look at me and they're like, "What did he just whisper in your ear? What just happened there? What's going on? What?" I was like, "No, nothing. Don't worry about it. No." I just like went back to like doing whatever, and they were like, "Okay, suspicious," and they went back to building the fire or whatever. And then like 5 minutes later, like I knew I had to space it out, so
Right.
they at least forgot a little bit. I totally like crumple and then collapse, like totally like ragdoll fall over, and like they hadn't patched me up correctly, so I was
you
still bleeding,
pass
and
out
then I
from
bled
bubbles.
out, and then and start going into shock, and I'm like shaking and like hypothermic, and they're like, "Oh shoot!" Like
I would have been so traumatized.
and so the rescuers were like, "Oh no!" like wait, like ah crap. So they rush over and they're like taking my clothes off so I can get warm, dry clothes on me, and they're like holding my hand above my head, like putting pressure on it, and they're like checking my pupils to like make sure they're like equal and round, and I'm not like gonna have a seizure or anything.
Always good, yeah.
Yeah, it was a blast.
So not only are you giving our listeners this great story, but you're also giving them first aid tips on how to treat someone who's gone into shock.
Sure, yeah.
So there you go.
Stop the bleeding.
Stop. So is this like a regular occurrence at your school? Like just these
People going into shock?
Well, I mean the drills.
Maybe like once a semester. I'd
How
say.
often are there serious accidents? Like with
Not
transplant
that
and stuff?
often at all.
Have you been there for one?
Yeah, but I can't talk about it.
That's disappointing. Did they turn out okay?
Yeah, everything turns out okay. We're all okay. It's all
The way
okay.
you're saying it sounds like it's some conspiracy that like
We're all
Yeah.
okay.
there is no war in Ba Sing Se. Like this big cover up that you're not telling me about.
No, I don't want to make it sound like that. It's all good. Everybody's fine. Everybody's where they need to be.
Awesome.
There's a smiling, benevolent God. I just listened to an episode of it's Welcome to Night Vale, but it wasn't Welcome to Night Vale. It was Desert Bluffs, whatever that section is called. I forgot what it's called.
Oh, like the other town.
The other town, Desert Bluffs, shining, smiling
It's
God.
been years and years since I've listened
Yeah.
to it.
Anyways, how have you been?
I've been good. Obviously we're on break right now.
We are on break. We're
which is
talking
nice.
in person.
Yeah, this is only our.
You have a beard, and I shaved yesterday.
So
That's all we need to know.
everything's back to the way it should be.
Back to the way.
The world equilibrium has been reached.
That's right.
It's been a stressful couple of weeks.
For sure. Yeah, we don't necessarily need to get into.
No, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know, I was wiped out by, like the week before break. I had no energy left, and just trying to like get through those last few days was. It was a lot, but here we are, relaxing.
We're back.
And that's actually one of the things I wanted to talk about. That's on my list that I don't have written down because I
don't have a list
memorized
either.
it.
I quote free. What did I say? Freestyle.
That's
Quote,
yeah,
freestyle.
with an exclamation point.
With exclamation
We were really
point.
excited to freestyle this.
Yeah.
Which I mean, some of our best episodes have just been sort of off the cuff,
Off the cuff.
rambling. So break
Off these cuffs.
Off these cuffs.
Your shirt doesn't have cuffs. I suppose they are cuffs. What's the difference between a cuff and like a? Like these are like actual cuffs.
kind
with,
of a
like,
cuff now.
buttons and like.
See, it's like Listeners, I rolled up my sleeves.
So they're just sleeves.
They're just sleeves.
What do you call the end of a sleeve if it's not a cuff?
A sleeve end? I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Food for thought. What? Where does a sleeve end and a sleeve end begin?
All right.
But one of the things that I've always struggled with on breaks is like what to do during them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, because you get in such a rhythm with school and stuff, and then you come home and like obviously it's different for you because you probably live a much different life in Vermont than you do in New York. In terms of just like the environment you're in.
Yeah.
You know, you're not in the middle of nowhere here.
This is fair.
You got cell service and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I don't use that often.
But you know what I mean? Like,
okay,
there's
sure.
more to do, I guess. Like more options.
That's a real stereotype.
Well, because you said like the nearest like fast food place is.
Yeah, but
I mean,
so people think that just because you're rural or just because you're remote, there's nothing to do.
That's not what I meant.
And that's exactly what you just said.
Yeah, okay.
You're coming into civilization. There's more to do here.
It did sound like that.
Like, welcome to the 21st century. We have things for you. It's like,
see this little block, you can play games on it.
You assume that people in the past or people that live in a rural or remote lifestyle don't have things to do. I have plenty of things to do. I've got probably equal amount of things to do back there than I do here.
I'm sure that, yeah.
Most of them are more entertaining to me, which is why I chose to live there.
Well, no, absolutely. But what I mean is, like, it's not going to sound good now, because now you made me sound prejudiced against rural.
Okay, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I see your point. But, like, I don't know, at school, like, you're doing these outdoorsy things, and
Still doing outdoorsy things now.
Maybe your life hasn't changed that much. Mine hasn't really either. But, like, the absence of class has always just, like, how do I fill that time?
Sounded like a socialist there. Yeah. The absence of a class structure. The absence of...
This is actually, I meant to, this was a surprise. We're no longer just a conversation-based podcast. We are now the official podcast of the Communist Party of the United States of America.
No, don't say that.
I'm kidding. NSA, I'm kidding.
That's a real dangerous thing you just said.
I'm going to put this up on the internet, too.
The absence of class structure.
So the absence of class, of course, allows for more free markets. And
no, it's the opposite of free.
That's true, yeah. See, I'm not in school.
Where there's no structure in your day, so what do you do?
Right, so like, how do I fill that time? Because, I mean, the answer I'd like what I would like to do is just watch Netflix all the time.
I don't, that's the thing, though. I don't feel satisfied doing that.
I don't.
I'm a human being that has, like, a weird itch to, like, actually do something. And maybe that comes from, like, the productiveness of American society and the free market that we do have, right?
Capitalism.
That's like, if you're not being productive and like making something out of your day, then you're a worthless. You know, you're not American almost. So it's like, it is kind of frustrating to be like, I feel like I have to do something today. And most days I do have to do something. I also have homework over break.
Right, yeah, homework. I should do that.
So I have to write a whole novel actually. So so I have things I should be doing, right? But most of the time when I'm procrastinating those things, and even if I am procrastinating those things and I'm not doing anything, I still feel this like, I should be doing something more productive.
Right, I feel that way a lot.
And I can enjoy the time watching Netflix and doing that. And like, doesn't mean that's not doing anything. Like, sometimes I have to remind myself to lower my standards of what I consider as doing something. Where like, if I'm getting something out of this Netflix show, or if I'm like just browsing the internet, but browsing the internet in a way that's like fulfilling and like knowledgeable to me,
then
you're
not just down a rabbit hole.
Then maybe that's doing something, you know?
And I feel like at school I've earned that more because I've done the rehearsals, I've gone to class, I've done my homework.
Fair.
So I've earned, the hour or so, to watch this episode.
Yeah.
Whereas here, like, I'm sitting on my butt all day.
Yeah.
I'm either writing or watching Netflix, or I went for a walk earlier. That was really fun because it was snowing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. The days are just longer, and it's hard to sort of...
Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, I don't know. But also, that's like motivation. It's like things you like to get done, It's
that's
like,
true.
How do you value what you're doing? It's kind of complicated. Oh, Jeff Bezos. I was going to talk about Jeff Bezos.
Okay, let's talk about Jeff Bezos.
Because he talks about it's important to do nothing sometimes.
he's also, the richest man in the world.
Also the richest man in the world, yes. And
So he can afford to do nothing.
He can afford to do
more
nothing.
than any of us
It's very
can.
true, but he has a point behind it. He says that it's important to do nothing so that you have the energy to make the decisions that you need to make during the day that are important. And it's important to make less of those decisions, but make them really well. And maybe this is like total nonsense of like...
If it weren't
some,
coming
like,
from him, I'd respect it more, but like thinking about just how Amazon workers are...
No, it's very true.
Go, and
Yeah.
you hesitate,
It's easy for him
robot
to...
punches you in the face or whatever.
Yeah, the capitalist system will just crush you.
But
the idea is that doing
economics-based-
nothing has a value, right? Doing nothing is
absolutely.
actually like somewhat beneficial. We think of doing nothing as like, oh, that's like completely pointless. But really, it can benefit you yeah, you get the point.
I think it's important like to do sort of those self-care based things
Yes.
because
But not all the time.
not all the time.
Too much is...
But
too
in a capitalist society, it
you don't
is
need to
like
say that again like that.
it was for humor. It didn't land. That's okay. But we are sort of raised and sort of programmed, for lack of a better word, to think that like
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
no, but like I don't know. It's overwhelming sometimes, and I think we don't let ourselves take time for ourselves enough because we do feel guilty about not doing homework or not.
But like you said, that's
doing
also
something
easy
else.
for us to say, being the people we are, benefiting from the systems that we benefit from, having the privilege that we are benefiting from, right? It's like...
Right, no, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I have the convenience to think about what it's like to have free time.
Versus other people who obviously don't.
But, enough said, I suppose.
Enough said.
What do you like to do to relax?
In general, or
Yeah. What's your thing like? Well, because for me, I find that it changes. But like at the end of the day, I feel like, wow, it's been a rough day. What do I want to do? I suppose it depends on the day, but...
sometimes I'll put on a podcast.
Podcast. What type of podcast?
The D&D one that I talk about a lot, the
The
Adventure
D&D
Zone.
podcast.
That's like if I'll make some dinner, like mac and cheese or something.
Mm-hmm.
If it's been a rough day, that's like my go-to. It's some sort of pasta thing because I don't eat enough pasta out in Ohio.
They don't have pasta in Ohio?
Nah,
It's not a thing.
they don't have pasta on campus.
They don't have pasta on...
Except in the dining halls, it's like sitting for too long, so it's just like cold and crusty.
What type of world do you live in?
A very sad
That
one.
you don't have pasta, and the only pasta you do have is cold and crumbly?
Crusty.
Crusty.
Crusty was the word I used, I think.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I'll like listen to a podcast, make some pasta, and just sort of sit and listen. It's laugh a little bit, and so that's like one. Or I'll watch an episode of something on Netflix.
What's your thing on Netflix that you're watching?
I just watched The Dragon Prince.
Okay.
Not sponsored, but it's made by the guys who did Avatar, Legend of Korra, and stuff. But it's like medieval Europe-y, sort of Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings style story, and it's really good. The animation's a little weird.
I see.
But I like it. It's 9 episodes, and I just binged the whole thing. But what's your go-to Netflix? What's your go-to relaxing?
Oh, this show on Netflix I've been watching recently is called Big Mouth. And
I
it's
have heard a lot about Big Mouth.
awful, but it's gonna ruin your life. It's really funny. It's like one of those adult comedy animated shows, like American Dad or like Family Guy or whatever. But it deals with kids in puberty and their hormones. They're like their hormonal changes and thoughts are personified into a monster that follows them around, and only they can see the monster that is personified by their. So it's really hilarious. Also very rude and like crass. Like it's not appropriate at all whatsoever. But it's like it's really funny. And me and my friends are go around and make the one voice of the hormone monster and talk to each other in that way, and it's hilarious. It's so funny.
Do you do that on the Commons?
We don't do that on the
this like in
Commons.
public.
We do this like in the dining hall. We'll come up to each other and it's pretty funny. But my one friend, it was funny how I landed on it because my one friend was like, "Yo, I've been watching the show on Netflix called Big Mouth. Don't watch it. It's gonna ruin your life. You're gonna get obsessed. Like I'm warning you. I'm telling you this as a friend to not make your life this show."
But
I was like,
that sounds like he's asking you to watch it.
Yeah, it sounds like he wants somebody to talk to about it. And one day I was like, scrolling through Netflix, like, I don't know, what's there to watch? I've got like a good couple hours to kill, like, I don't know. I've seen every adventure documentary on Netflix. Why not like watch this show that he requested? And wow, it was a good 2 weeks before I came out the other end of it.
That's like a good 2 weeks well spent. Isn't it funny? Like there's so much on Netflix. There's always more being added to Netflix.
Yeah.
But like still, there's those times where you're just like, oh, there's nothing to watch.
Well, because it depends. It's like your mood.
Right. You know,
I watched this not so good documentary on Netflix.
What was it called?
It was called Mountain. Just Mountain.
Tear it apart, Isaac.
Well,
give us your review.
So it's kind of complicated because it's also funny. A second.
I'll believe it out.
Oh no!
It wasn't me this time.
Oh no!
There's the mark. I got it. 25 minutes in.
Oh no!
Bleep that out.
Oh no! No, but don't bleep out the rest.
No. This is gonna be in the episode.
Yeah. Oh god.
Our moms will be laughing very hard at this.
No, don't say that either.
I'll just bleep out.
No, it's okay.
Our viewer will be laughing very hard at this, so it's a mystery.
Muscle memory. Anyways, it's interesting to talk about that documentary with people at.
Oh no.
This has been Isaac totally destroys.
Let your guard down and now everyone's gonna find you. There's not that many people there. They could figure out who you are.
Wow. Or they could just look it up on my website. So, yeah. The people that I talk to about it, that I go to school with.
There you go.
At this place have a really interesting perspective. They have like a very similar perspective to me on it, and it's interesting. It'd be interesting to watch it with somebody like you that hasn't taken a philosophy course on wilderness and outdoor recreation and education, because it seems like it takes the view of like riskier is better, and we need to establish risk in our lives because our life is boring in today's society, and we're constantly out there to push the boundaries of our wilderness experiences, and we have to have these wildernesses in order to get a reprieve from the disgusting society that we've built in our cities, which is somewhat true, yes, but like also not exactly the case.
Yeah, there's something to be said. I mean, any sort of nature can do that, I think. Like,
yeah,
even if
but
it's walking
also
down to, like, Knox Park
splitting us from nature.
Yeah.
It's dividing us. It's taking a ethnocentric view of our relationship with nature. And it's being like, oh, we need this thing because we have broken ourselves apart from it. I was like, wait, we're still part of it. We're still in it. We're still in this sort of game here.
So, I mean, it's sort of it's self-segregation, essentially, between us and nature.
Yeah.
But also, like, immersion within this self-segregated.
Yeah.
So
and Bill McKibben would say that there's no more wilderness anywhere.
And who is that?
The famous nature writer that I went skiing with once.
You didn't tell me that, or you might have told me that story.
You might have told me that, yeah.
But
anyways, so it's really, and the cinematography is like okay, like it's pretty good cinematography. It's like the really like money shots of like people skydiving or like backcountry snowboarding that they're like, you know, doing these like crazy things and like.
So it looks
like,
nice, but the message
mountain climbing, like really epic, like helicopter footage, probably drone shots nowadays, but like ice climbing up these like crazy things. Like the cinematography is like cherry, right? It's like, but the most bro outdoor cinematography you could think of. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Which is fine. Like that's its own subgenre of outdoor film, of course. Adventure, like documentary, which is cool, I guess, but like not exactly.
But when you got a message that's
when you have a message that's that, and you're using this type of cinematography in order to create that message, it's like, yeah, but now you're picking out the most perfect shots to back up that message. You're not getting a video of somebody walking in a park that is like tame and like the difference of pastoralism versus like wilderness. Like you're just like, look at this. This is cool. We need this to be
That's how all filmmakers talk. You've nailed it.
Yeah.
So what if you
That's
were to
my
make
rant.
that documentary? How would you make it?
I wouldn't. I would take people
Valid
out there
answer.
myself. Did I tell you about my did I talk about that off record? I talked about it on record. All right, continue.
What are we talking about?
My potential job.
Oh, the field semester?
No. The
the
backcountry wedding facilitating.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite bits.
That's what I would do. That's what I'd give people
That could
experiences.
be a good documentary, though.
I'd give people experiences that they
inside world
can
of
actually
these-
have in nature, not just make a movie about it.
I feel called out.
Bam.
I feel like you're singling me out here.
Well, I go to school for that. I don't go to school for cinematography.
Yeah, but
What type of movie would you make about it, seeing as how you go to school for that sort of thing?
I'm a big fan of like these sort of video journal-esque,
Okay.
like a hiking film.
Mm.
You know, someone's got a GoPro and
You seen like Mile and a Half?
I haven't seen it, but like I assume it's sort of that sort
Pretty
of thing.
good. You seen 180 Degrees South?
No, I haven't seen a lot of nature.
You seen
adventure docs.
Grizzly Man?
I have seen Grizzly
Is that
Man.
what it's
I
called?
would watch that for class actually.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It is. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
So, I'll go on my own filmmaker rant here. or my
Please
own.
do.
Werner Herzog, the filmmaker, did that. Wonderful
Great
guy,
man.
amazing filmmaker.
Yes.
But this is my professor's words, but I think it's right. Every Herzog film is about Herzog.
Yeah, kinda.
So like, you know, this is where I disagree with. You know, he will
he
sort of
interjects
insert himself into
yeah.
it. Like, here's my opinion. I'm gonna tell you. I know you're just watching this film, but here's what Werner Herzog, the famous award-winning filmmaker. Here's what I think. And like every single film, there's a film he made about a skier. I think in Switzerland, but don't quote me on that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the skiing, but like you don't have poles and you just go down and
You jump.
ski jumping. Is that what
Ski
it's called?
jumping?
Ski jumping. Yeah, creative name. Yes.
Otherwise known as ski flying.
Except they don't fly,
They fly. They fly like 60 meters.
and then break their legs.
No. Anyways.
There's an amazing montage, speaking of that, in the film where you just see like people just like wiping out over and
Oh,
over. And
no.
it's
Painful.
hard to watch.
Yeah.
But at one point, the guy who he's making this film about wipes out, and it's a shot of him with a microphone. Our film may be over. Like,
Great.
you're making a film about this guy,
And then you check the little like scroll bar and you're like, oh no, we're only 40 minutes in. Okay.
no,
It's
all right. But I guess that's my mini Herzog rant.
Have you seen Antarctica Strange Worlds or whatever? There was this documentary about McMurdo Station. That was pretty interesting too.
Are these all on Netflix, the ones you're naming? Or?
I think it was on Netflix for a while. There was a poster of it hanging up in the common room of my dorm for a while. I was like, huh. And then I saw the little like thing of it on Netflix, and I was like, that seems familiar for
And
some
then
reason. And I was like, oh, I'll click on that.
And was it good?
It was pretty good. I mean, it was a Warner Herzog. Like, it was exactly what
It
you
was-
said. Like, they're very similar, you know.
He's an interesting guy. I'm taking a documentary class this semester. and
Documentary. class.
almost every doc we watch, someone asks a question, how would Herzog have made this film? And then everyone in class goes from their Herzog impression and says, you know, that was a horrible Herzog impression I just did.
I
But
don't
like,
like it.
says that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's it. But
People
you
got
should
their
send me a
style,
list
so.
of these docs, because I'm sort of getting into
All of the adventure documentaries.
like
on
the really
Netflix.
good ones. I know they're all on this podcast.
They're
I could
mostly
just
pretty
listen.
good. Except that one mountain one. Mountain.
Is that just the title? Just Mountain?
Just mountain.
That's a bad title.
It's a bad
too.
title, for sure. It tells you
So-
nothing about what it's going to be about.
It's about a mountain.
It's about mountain.
Just the one.
Mountain.
The single mountain.
Mountain.
Is that just-
Mountain.
All right, welcome to Mountain.
Mountain.
Isaac just says mountain for the rest of this episode. Here we go. 30 minutes of mountain.
Mountain. Yeah. What's the other documentary? Valley Uprising's pretty good. It's a climbing documentary about Yosemite. I watched that the other day. That's cool. Actually, I hosted a viewing of it. Only 2 people showed up, but...
You say you hosted a viewing. Was it just 2 people and you sat with your laptop and watched
No,
it?
actually, I used a projector in a classroom, which I'm kind of not supposed to use, but... I mean, I kind of am. Like,
I feel like that's,
just
they're
hook up the
there.
HDMI cable and
Yeah.
the speaker jack and, like,
in September for my birthday, I got a couple of friends and went to a lecture hall and watched, what did we watch? Did Poet Society in this lecture hall, which was...
It's an interesting one.
I hadn't seen it before.
Whenever I think about boys' boarding schools, I think about that.
Well, that's like the
That movie.
definitive, that bunch of rich white people being uppity.
Uppity?
Yeah, that's a word.
No, yeah, but I don't get... Yeah.
But that's what I think of for boarding schools.
You ever seen the Saturday Night Live sketch of that?
Where the guy gets decapitated?
Stands on the desk and then the ceiling fan decapitates him and his head
when I was watching,
flies around.
I saw that before I saw the film.
Hilarious.
So when I'm watching the film, I'm like, oh wait a second, I recognize this.
Is this gonna happen?
Oh no! And then of course that's
my captain! Blood everywhere.
would undermine the whole film a little bit.
Oh yeah, but it would have been hilarious.
I don't think Dead Poets Society is supposed to be a comedy. I think it's supposed to be a coming of age.
Oh no.
Nah, so you know can we spoil? I mean, it came out 30 years ago. Can we spoil it?
Film. It's probably more than 30 years ago. When did it come out? 80s? 90s?
Like late 80s, I think.
Late 80s?
86, 87, something like that.
That means it's
30 something years old.
30 something years
It's
old.
2018.
Well, anyways, yes.
But yeah, not exactly the happiest of films.
No. Pretty good though.
Oh, really good.
Yeah.
I was stressed out for a lot of it.
I could see that.
Would they get caught? And then Midsummer Night's Dream.
Mountain.
I think that's the title of the episode.
One thing I wanted to talk about was how many views we're getting.
We're getting a lot
On
of
our
views.
last episode, we have 30 views and it's been up for 2 weeks. That's pretty good.
We're making a name for ourselves.
That's. I think that's better than PewDiePie's doing right now. Is that true?
Are we getting laying on the PewDiePie controversy? Is that where we're going?
No. Do we have more subscribers than him? Is that what's going on?
We have 5 subscribers so
5?
far. I think they're all my friends.
A whole 3 of them are me.
Really?
No, I don't know.
How, you mentioned you got a notification. Are you subscribed?
I am subscribed. This is the only thing I'm subscribed to.
So it's pretty easy to see when there's a new episode up.
Yeah, that's why I do it, so I know when there's an episode up.
I put them up. I try to get them up pretty fast. This one will go up faster because I don't have to edit much.
Right.
When it's
no, I think you do have to edit much. When it's 2 parts.
So I have to
We're talking to the same mic here. The other way, you have to match it up.
Mm-hmm. And then I have to, if there's, long silences where, the internet buffered or something, or if, there's weird sounds on one person's side. I was in a really weird-sounding chair in the last episode.
Weird-sounding chair?
It kept creaking weirdly, but it made... Whatever sounds it recorded, it was not good noises.
Ungodly
So I had to,
sounds.
while you were talking, I went and just cut out my bit of the audio.
That sounds stressful.
And I can, speed... I do a lot more work with the other episodes.
Fair.
This one, I'll plop our little jingle in and...
Yeah, we should talk about that jingle.
You got a problem with the jingle?
Yeah, a little bit.
What's your problem?
No, I just don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
I don't know.
This is episode 12. We've been doing this for a year. You probably should have said something.
I think I just realized now that I don't like the jingle.
Would you like to record your own
jingle? If I'm gonna listen to I think about how I listen to my podcasts and how I might listen to 2 episodes in a row or come back to the same podcast, right? We're trying to and so do we really have to say that jingle's fine for the first couple episodes, but then later can we just make a shorter jingle or a jingle that
I put a lot of work into that.
No, I'm sure you did.
Yeah, we can make a shorter jingle if you wanna help me with that at some point.
Nah, I probably won't.
So I'll just do it myself.
I don't know.
Listeners, weigh in. Do you like the jingle?
My listeners are never gonna. If you have any bean names for my bean, it's long gone. I just want to let you know. I know we talked about it last episode, but you really dropped the ball on that one. You dropped the bean on that one.
That made me sad. That physically hurt me.
I'm over it.
But I also made the joke Benjamin, so I think we're okay.
That joke is...
It's been a little bit, but...
Yeah, it's... I'm really not that surprised, but it definitely cemented my... I talked about it last episode.
Yeah, it's good. It sort of confirms that you're doing...
Put me in my place,
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, I need to get put in my place every once in a while.
I think we all do.
Yeah, go to your place.
This is it.
This is your place.
We're in my home. Go to your place.
Alright.
Wait, don't actually. I've already got enough episodes that are just me talking.
Yeah, the one that's horrible audio from my side.
We figured it out.
No, we didn't. It's still...
No, I mean, for the subsequent...
Oh, eventually we figured it out. Yeah, but that one is
it's
ungodly.
Yeah. But I didn't want to not put it up.
I wouldn't want that on my worst enemies to listen to that episode. You would?
I really hate my enemies.
I have nobody in my life that I consider an enemy.
I don't either. I used to.
Maybe
back when I was a
I
dramatic
did.
teenager.
Yeah, when you were...
I'm a well-rounded adult now.
Well-rounded.
What's that even mean? Is that a fat joke? Or are you just saying well-rounded? I'm confused.
Yeah. Well, nah. Maybe I got some enemies. Trying to
Rack your brains.
let me think. Maybe I got a lot of enemies. Got a lot of people
Maybe everyone's your enemy.
trying to drain me of this energy. Trying to take away from
Your groove, your style.
yeah, word I can't say. Got people asking me about the code for the Wi-Fi, so they can show me pictures of their friends, just to tell me they ain't really friends.
I'm so confused. Is this in reference to something?
Yeah, me and one of my friends at school, we walk up to each other, and in the dining hall, like when we least expect it, like we'll be having a casual lunch, and then we'll just quote Drake to each other, or like one of us will like intercede a conversation with a Drake quote.
Oh, it was Drake.
The other person will burst out laughing. It'll be hilarious.
See, I haven't listened to much Drake.
I went through a phase in high school.
Yeah, I
think you know
remember.
this.
You talked about him a lot, and I never did listen to him.
It was a weird phase.
I think I'll go through phases.
There's also a phase in my life where I thought it was interesting. No, I can't. Never mind. I realized I got dangerously close to saying that, and I was like, oh, wait. No, I can only say that in real life once, and then not forever on a podcast. So we'll leave that one for the off the mic.
It's a little mystery for the listeners to
little-
ponder and never know the
Little
answer
mountain mystery.
to. Mountain.
Mountain.
How long can we do this before it gets...
I think it's still funny.
Do you think Jerry Seinfeld climbed a mountain?
Gosh darn it. You did it before I could.
I like that. Like, we've abandoned a lot of the old running stuff, but now we've got this new Jerry Seinfeld running joke that was never that funny.
No,
but
that's
like,
the thing. It's like there's this show called Dynamic Banter. It's a podcast I like to listen to. And it's Steve Zaragoza and Mike Falzone, otherwise known as Milk Calzone.
Milk Calzone?
His name's Mike Falzone.
Do they call him Milk Calzone?
No, nobody calls him that, but I think it's a funny way to.
That's the most. I'm picturing a calzone, but like someone just dumped a lot of milk on it, and it's the worst thing I've ever heard.
He'll put that as his like title for like a brought to you by, and then like instead of his name it'll be Milk. It's hilarious, but
I'm sure.
Where they have bits, like they have like running bits for the show.
I'm sure most podcasts.
Most podcasts, it's a comedy podcast too. They've got funny bits, and
I'm assuming that's a bit.
no.
Oh, that's just you.
Drill bits, and it's hilarious. But they like come and go, and they'll sometimes like cameo old ones that they haven't brought up in a while.
Right.
It's pretty funny, and that's I feel like we're getting
Jerry
there.
Seinfeld is becoming there. What are some of our bits we had? There was the Welcome to So and So cast, right? That was one we had for a long time. The sponsor stuff.
Sponsor cast.
We had some good bits.
Some good bits.
Some good bits.
Some good. I know you can't say that. Some good drill bits. Yeah. I don't know. But that's all we got. I think that's the last bit we can ever do, actually.
Ever?
That's the last one we're going to come up with.
All right, we had 12 episodes of bits. That's it. We're no longer going to have funny
12
moments.
episodes of bits.
See, I like the jokes from like old NES games. They only had 8 bits.
There was 12 bits. There was 64 bits.
And now we got all the bits.
How many bits are in a... How does that work?
Because now games are like... Because bit used to be... It was like a pixel, right?
Yeah.
But now there's like 4K
right
graphics, so 4K. I don't know how that...
How many bits are in a K?
I don't know.
1,000?
Well, is a K 1,000 pixels?
Is that how that works?
Maybe? I think so, right? Because 1080 is that's how many pixels there are.
Uh-huh.
I should know this.
What's
is
P
like,
versus I? 1080p versus 1080i?
It has to do with like the quality of the pixels. Like the sharpness of them.
Sharp?
Yeah. Like how... I don't know how else to describe it.
You absolutely have the field on this one. There's no way I know anything about this.
1080i is it's lower quality than 1080p.
Okay.
P and I stand...
Intense.
That's actually what it stands for. And
1080p X.
But what's the X?
I don't know.
Xylophone?
It's like it's like P90X, but like 1080px.
I gotcha.
Get it?
Yeah, it was good.
Sorry, go ahead.
But like, that's it. That's all I got.
You don't know.
They do
anything
stand
about
for
it?
something, I'm sure.
What is like 4K?
4K is I think it's 4,000 pixels. Now there's like 8K video.
Yeah, I've heard rumors of 8K.
Which is nuts.
Could go run at 8K.
Well, it's not the same thing.
8K before BK. Well, really 5K before BK.
BK meaning Burger King?
No, BK meaning breakfast. It's when you run a 5K before breakfast.
See, these are like terms I don't really understand.
You know,
I've never run.
5K is about 3.1 miles, maybe 3.2, depending on how you measure it. See, I think in kilometers when I'm skiing, but I think in miles when I'm running. It's really weird.
Does that have to get confusing?
I also think in Celsius when I'm skiing too, because most of the ski waxes are in Celsius temperature. And it's also just easier to think of zero as
war on
freezing.
America.
So then I think of running temperatures in Fahrenheit. You know, it's weird. When I'm skiing, I switch over.
How do you reconcile
metric.
these brains? You've got like these two identities battling.
Nah, I've got more than two identities.
I think M. Night Shyamalan made a movie about you.
It's called Split.
Yeah.
It's called...
See, he's got like a new one. It's like a bunch of his old films.
It's a bunch of the, conglomerated
I've never
together.
I've seen Stuart Little. That's one of the films of his that I've seen.
That's conglomerated into it?
I wish. Wouldn't that be
my
great? Like, you got
God.
Sam Jackson, like, we need to get all these people. And Stuart Little just, like, walks up. Or did he have a car? Do I remember that right? Stuart Little had a car?
It's like a little red toy, like
Yeah.
Matchbox car.
Which is different from the mouse on the motorcycle. Which is a whole nother story.
Mouse on the motorcycle.
Did you never read that?
Cricket in Times Square.
I have read all of these. I forgot Cricket in Times Square existed for a while, and I saw it on, like...
Was Royal Dahl a racist?
Are we getting into this on our podcast?
Was he, though?
I've heard that he was. I don't know if he was.
I feel like he was. I feel like if you heard a rumor that he was and you don't know if he was, he probably was.
Probably.
He's probably hanging out with
I heard
Dr. Seuss.
it was Dr. Seuss a racist?
Well, so my brother actually did some research on this because he's like a comic archivist.
Speaking of comics, I just want to say rest in peace, Stan Lee.
Yeah.
It's really upsetting, but...
R.I.P.
Anyway.
And it's not upsetting. He was.
I know, but like...
Anyways.
I liked his cameos.
For sure. What was I going to say? Oh, and how Dr. Seuss did some war comics, but they were like vehemently anti-Japanese.
Ooh.
And had some things we wouldn't draw today in them.
Okay.
Yeah. At least that's how I believe. This might be completely manufactured, but it sounds true, right?
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, Disney did a bunch of propaganda videos with like Donald Duck.
Donald Duck being
with like
Hitler.
Like going around killing Japanese people.
Yeah.
But it was like
it's not great.
written as a comedic thing. Like, oh, look at silly Donald Duck killing the crazy Asian people. Like,
I don't like the whole sentence you just said there, but okay.
Taken out of context, it could sound pretty bad, couldn't it?
Yeah, somebody's gonna edit this podcast.
Who's gonna edit this podcast? Who's going to take the time to slander my name?
Your enemies.
Right, my many enemies.
Many enemies.
Speaking of Roald Dahl, this is actually a conversation I was having with one of my roommates.
James and the Giant Peach.
That one. Yeah, that book also was written by him.
Yep.
Did you ever see the movie?
Yeah.
It's a weird movie.
It's a weird one.
But
his parents were killed by a rhinoceros?
Was that what happened?
Yeah. Or a car accident.
Whichever's
more
thing.
plausible. Pretty sure it was a rhinoceros attack.
More exciting than a car accident, at least. But we were talking about...
Is that how you think about it? Sorry, go ahead.
It is how I think about it. I just, how exciting is a death? We were talking about people's last words, because, like, some people have these really eloquent last words, and, like, that must be something they thought out. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm gonna die. I can feel myself dying, but I'm gonna... what's
some
this?
people are like, oops.
But Roald Dahl, he said this, like, really smart-sounding thing. I don't remember exactly what it was. And then the nurse, like, jabbed him with a needle to give him some sort of medicine and went, oh, fuck, and then he died. I think I've dropped
we've
that bombs on this
definitely
podcast before.
You should keep the clap in.
The clap's a bit now. We have a new bit.
Oh, no.
It's the please censor bit.
and so
I guess the censor itself, the trombone thing, that's going to be a bit. Do you want it to be a trombone again?
Yeah,
Okay.
trombone would work. But keep the clap in.
Right.
So that people know I had to do that. Don't try to make it seamless.
But we always talk about it, too.
Yeah, we're like, oh, no.
Oh, no, censor that out.
Oh, we got to do that. Yeah. Just making more work for you.
Honestly, it's fun to do.
Is it, though?
Like, there's little... That's less fun. On the headphones, that's going to be real rough. The spikes, it's all the way. It's a huge spike. So that's going to be fun.
You could cut that down a bit.
That's a lot of work to
Cut-
cut individual bits.
Cut the top of the
I have to
mountain
go for the
off.
master track mountain.
Mount. You can cut the top of that mountain off.
I hate this. This is our own personal hell, and we've created it.
No, it's not true.
I think you're turning this molehill into a.
Anthill.
I'm upset. I'm incredibly upset. How long of an episode should we do?
This is probably good enough.
Okay.
Great. Have a
We
good
want
day,
to talk
folks.
briefly about NaNoWriMo?
No, not really. I'm upset about it.
Then we will not talk briefly
It's
about
draining
NaNoWriMo.
my life force.
Oh,
Really.
good. Yeah, we will.
And I
wrap
don't see
this
the
up.
point in it anymore because I feel like I'm better than it.
You're 10 days away.
10
Oh, no, sorry.
days away?
So, listeners, thank you for listening
Oh
to
my
episode 12 of
God.
Catchupcast. Isaac's having a mental breakdown.
I'm 10 days away? Oh,
Have a
Jesus
wonderful day. And remember,
Christ. Oh, no.
anything in your life that's
I'm gonna die.
that's
It's gonna kill
in
me.
your way, all
I
you
can't
gotta
let
do
that
is
stupid guy beat me.
make it to the
end.
top of the.
No.
So I was gonna say something motivational about like climbing a mountain and getting to the other side. Listeners,
I
whatever you're
have 10
struggling
days
with,
left to write 25,000 words.
I'm stressed now.
Yeah.
So listeners, don't be like us. Accomplish your dreams. Bye.